There's always that one photo, the kind that was never meant to see the light of day. Blurry, tilted, almost accidental, yet powerful enough to spark chaos and leave everyone scrambling for answers. This one surfaced out of nowhere, a random midnight upload on an obscure Luanda forum. No watermark, no caption, just a haunting rooftop snapshot. There's Prince Harry, relaxed, drink in hand, leaning toward a woman nobody could identify. Long dark hair, a soft smile, and a body language that definitely didn't scream just friends or business acquaintance. Then, just like that, it vanished. Post deleted, account wiped clean, but nothing really disappears on the internet. Not when screenshots exist. Not with Discord sleuths on the case. By the time the wider public even caught wind of it, the photo had already been saved, zoomed in, dissected, and passed around in countless private chats. The real question wasn't whether the photo was real, it was who the mystery woman was. And more intriguingly, why did the moment feel so intimate? No press coverage, no royal engagements, no event tags or official presence. Just an unguarded vibe, a cozy rooftop night in a place where phones are typically banned, and the guest list includes oil tycoons and political heavyweights. So, how did this leak happen? Who was behind the camera? And why did the image vanish as quickly as it appeared? The internet became a crime scene overnight. Reddit blew up. TikTok went full-on detective mode. Royal gossip accounts were ablaze with hashtags like Rooftop Harry and Who is she? Side-by-side comparisons flooded social feeds, blurry jewelry close-ups, speculative voiceovers analyzing her posture, even claims of identifying her by her energy. Everyone agreed. This wasn't some random coincidence. It was a captured moment, one that was never meant to be public. Meanwhile, back in California, Meghan Markle dropped something odd. No captions, no faces, just a perfectly curated Instagram story, a glass of rosé, a white chess piece, and a stack of pastel-colored notebooks. Soft light, dreamy focus, pure aesthetic. But it felt pointed. But fans couldn't ignore the timing. The post went up just hours after that rooftop photo started circulating everywhere. No comments, no explanations, just a carefully curated mood board that felt a little too calculated to be innocent. Some called it shade, others a PR move. But most people saw it for what it really was, a distraction tactic. And it backfired. Because while Meghan was giving off lifestyle influencer vibes, Harry was still in Angola, supposedly following in his mother's footsteps, visiting minefields, standing for causes that mattered. Yet no one was talking about that anymore. The narrative had completely shifted. His humanitarian efforts suddenly irrelevant. Now it was all about that rooftop, that woman, and the deafening silence from Harry's side. Worse still, insiders claimed that on the very night that photo was snapped, Harry had dropped off the radar. No official engagements, no media commitments, just hours unaccounted for at an ultra-exclusive hotel known for its discretion and security. Then, things got even murkier, because around that same time, aides from King Charles's camp were allegedly trying to reach Harry for a private Zoom call, meant to ease tensions and discuss a possible path to reconciliation. But that call? It never happened. Harry's team blamed tech issues. Palace insiders weren't convinced. He wasn't unreachable, one source said. He was busy. And just like that, whispers of a mere distraction exploded into full-blown speculation. Was it just a casual meetup? Or something more? Was Meghan caught off guard? Or quietly in the loop? And if everything's fine between them, why the complete silence? Why stay quiet when the rumors are already spreading like wildfire? Then came the twist that set the rumor mill ablaze. Editors at major UK tabloids received cryptic early morning emails. No official statements, no explanations, just 5 chilling words. Nothing is as it seems. Sent off the record, straight from familiar palace insiders. For those who've been covering the royals for decades, the message was clear. This wasn't a defense. It was a hit. A quiet, calculated hit delivered with precision. And the target? It wasn't the woman in the photo. It was Harry. Within hours, the media narrative shifted. Publications that once portrayed Harry as the misunderstood outsider started using terms like unforced distraction and PR blunder. Even the outlets, usually cautious about criticizing the Sussexes, couldn't ignore the shifting tide. This wasn't just another royal rumor spiraling out of control. It was a strategic reset. A subtle reminder that while Harry may have left the palace still knows how to pull strings. Silently, surgically. Social media only poured fuel on the fire. TikTok became a breeding ground for armchair detectives dissecting Harry's every move, analyzing his body language frame by frame, speculating on the woman's identity. One viral clip zoomed in on the angle of Harry's elbow, claiming it was a telltale lean, the kind reserved for someone you're more than friendly with. Another video matched a bracelet worn by the mystery woman to an influencer who, coincidentally, had posted from Luanda that same weekend. Whether any of it was accurate didn't even matter anymore. The story had momentum, and there was no stopping it. Meanwhile, back in Montecito, things were anything but calm. Suddenly, gossip blogs were flooded with blind items, all seemingly pointing to a certain duchess, clad in luxury loungewear, pacing her Montecito estate and furiously yelling into her phone. One insider claimed they overheard Meghan shouting Harry's name repeatedly, followed by long, heavy silences and the distinct sound of sobbing. Another source said she kept repeating just 3 words: "He promised. He promised." Speculation exploded. Was it betrayal? A broken deal? No one knew for sure, but one thing was clear. The vibe was pure chaos. Still, the Sussex camp stood firm. No press releases, no public denials, only a wave of sharp legal threats. At least 4 popular gossip accounts reported receiving cease and desist letters, demanding they take down posts that mentioned the rooftop photo, even if they hadn't shared the image itself. The accusation? Defamatory implication. But rather than dousing the flames, the legal threats only made the situation burn hotter, because if the rumors were baseless, why the urgent need to erase every trace? Then came the narrative switch. Meghan's team quickly pivoted to promote her upcoming rosé launch. Out of nowhere, a brand video appeared. Meghan, dressed in soft pink, standing behind a sleek, minimalist table, speaking about celebration, femininity, and fresh new beginnings. The whole rollout was designed to radiate elegance and divert attention. But the comments section had other ideas. Within the first hour, thousands of messages poured in, and hardly any were about the wine. People were demanding answers. Why hadn't Harry addressed the rumors? Why was Meghan smiling and promoting her brand while the world was dissecting her marriage? The questions kept flooding in, and the silence only made things worse. Eventually, the comments were disabled altogether. That's when PR insiders began whispering that cracks were forming. Influencers who once eagerly endorsed Meghan's ventures suddenly went quiet. Some even untagged previous collaborations. Behind closed doors, staff reportedly started to pull away, with one even removing all Sussex connections from her LinkedIn profile. But it didn't end there. Back in Angola, whispers began circulating from those who had seen Harry in person. Descriptions painted a picture of a man distracted, off-kilter, emotionally withdrawn. He attended events but barely engaged. No jokes, no warm smiles, just someone going through the motions. One volunteer remarked it felt like he was physically present, but mentally miles away. And when someone so tightly managed starts to unravel in public, people take notice. A BBC reporter embedded on part of the trip reportedly told colleagues that Harry looked hollow, as if his mind was somewhere else entirely. He skipped a dinner with event organizers, blaming a headache, and was seen returning early to the hotel, alone. Then came the twist. Reports surfaced that he spent time pacing the very same rooftop. The exact rooftop where that mysterious photo was taken. The timing, the outfit, the behavior, everything aligned a little too perfectly. There's a reason some photos never hit the front page. They're too risky, too revealing, too valuable to toss into the public spotlight. And that's what made the next development so explosive. A second photo. Clearer, closer, sharper. According to a freelance paparazzo based in West Africa, someone snapped another shot on that same rooftop just minutes apart. This time, it wasn't a shadowy silhouette or a blurry gesture. It was a clear face, and not just Harry's. The woman beside him was fully visible. Rumors quickly spread that she might be connected to a prominent UK family. Not royal, but definitely old money. Think equestrian clubs, elite boarding schools, and vintage Chanel. The kind of woman who had been part of Harry's social circle at garden parties long before Meghan appeared on the scene. Insiders revealed the image showed them seated at a small corner table, both holding drinks, her head casually leaning toward his in that effortless kind of closeness that speaks volumes without a single word. No touching, no kissing. But there was no way to simply brush it off either. That photo never saw the light of day. Not because no one wanted it, but because someone wanted it buried. Quickly. According to multiple industry insiders, the image was quietly offered to 3 European tabloids, all of whom declined. Not due to lack of interest, but because legal threats were already flooding in. Someone with serious influence was determined to keep it under wraps. And that sparked the inevitable question. Who's protecting whom? Meghan's team? Maybe the palace? Or perhaps the woman in the photo had ties, making this much more than just a marital issue. It could be a high-stakes PR battle. Here's what we do know. Multiple sources confirm negotiations took place behind closed doors, not about publishing the photo, but ensuring it never surfaced. One even hinted at money changing hands. And as all this drama unfolded, the Sussex camp's silence only grew louder. No interviews, no social media updates, just an unnerving stillness. That kind of quiet you feel right before a storm breaks. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, cracks were appearing in the brand's armor. Meghan's team reportedly reached out to several top lifestyle companies to co-sponsor her wine launch. Every single one declined. One executive reportedly said, "There's too much noise. We don't want to be the face of this chaos." Then came the real blow. Netflix, once their golden ticket, reportedly put the brakes on their latest project, a documentary series focused on environmental legacy that was already in development. Officially, the project was still under review. Unofficially, it was on life support. One insider summed it up in one word: risk. Brand partners started pulling back. Even longtime media allies went silent. Usually, Meghan's birthday would be met with glowing tributes. This year, just a recycled article, a handful of half-hearted reposts, and deafening silence. The PR machine that once hummed like clockwork was suddenly stalling. One insider admitted they've lost control of the narrative, and everyone can feel it. To make matters worse, old headlines resurfaced. Photos of Harry's Vegas escapades, the infamous strip billiards night, shirtless hotel room selfies, girls with phone cameras, the whole Wild Prince saga. People started connecting the dots. Same old playbook. Different city. Only now, the stakes are higher, because back then the palace could clean it up. Now, he's out there on his own. And just when it seemed things couldn't get any worse, whispers returned from Montecito. Not just heated arguments, but real distance. Neighbors noticed Harry's absence. Meghan was seen out alone more often. No family snapshots, no hand-holding at charity events. Just 2 brands pretending the bond still holds. But everyone close knows the truth. The glue is wearing thin. And if that second photo ever surfaces, there might not be any glue left at all.